everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And it's just Marco here once again to talk about meeting C. Thomas Howell. Now this will be a kind of dumb fun one, but whatever. It's the start of my meeting blank celebrity series at Horror Hound. This has been my first and only Horror Hound experience. It was Horror Hound Cincinnati of 2019, I believe. Yeah, 2019, I think. Hopefully. Or 2018, in Cincinnati. Anyways, first off, I should explain, why did I want to meet C. Thomas Howell? Well, growing up, I was forced to read The Outsiders like everyone else. In fact, I had this teacher named Mrs. Brown, and she was a huge bitch, but that's beside the point. She was obsessed with The Outsiders. I mean, she probably, if there's such a thing as an outsider's fetish, this bitch had it. I mean, we read all these different books. One of them we had to read that we had already read a previous year, and then we got to The Outsiders, and she just she was so into it. Like, she should have started her own YouTube channel just to talk about The Outsiders. That's how much of a fan she was, and how much. And so I ended up watching the movie, and you know what? I don't really like the movie or the book. I like the feeling that it's trying to give off, the type of coming of age feeling. Even though I wasn't around during that period, it kind of feels nostalgic to me to watch it in a way where it's like, I wish I was around in that time. Like, it looks so, I don't know, it looks so glowy and fun and, different. And there's not SJWs around and people like that, I don't know. It's just a beautiful time. Even in the movie that was very dark. And yeah. And then also I saw C. Thomas Howell in E.T. Of course, I didn't remember him in E.T., but the reason I wanted to meet him is I wanted to meet him so I could say I met him before that bitch did. Like, she's so obsessed with the book and the movie and everything. I was like, how about I'll go meet him, and I'll have met him before she ever did. She probably never will, too, because she's too busy. Well, okay. But that is legitimately the reason I met him. It's just because I did like his performance in the film. I didn't like the film, but I liked the performances, him and Matt Dillon, of course. Matt Dillon, one of my favorite actors. Anyways, we got to Horror Hound, Safi and I, and it started off pretty rocky. There was a long line, and with Days of the Dead, I'll say this, somehow there wasn't a long line at Days of the Dead in Chicago, and that's the interesting thing, is that if you compare the conventions, it's easily Days of the Dead so much better, because in Horror Hound, it was like your animals, like they're just leading you around, go really fast, hurry up. And, you don't really get a chance to talk, and it's just very impersonal. It's so impersonal, I'll talk about some of the Daniel Harris story. But, yeah, very impersonal and very, very just cold. It's a cold place to be, and it's just not very fun at all. I will say Horror Hound had a better guest list, which is the interesting thing. Days of the Dead, not as good of a guest list, but it somehow, even though we got to talk however much we wanted, we got to do whatever we wanted, basically Days of the Dead was not as crowded as Horror Hound. With Horror Hound, There was a whole line and it was terrible. Like, we got there and we had to park across the street at this hotel. I think it was a hotel, and then we had to go into that hotel across the street from the other from the convention center, and we had to go to the bathroom in the hotel and like hurry the fuck up because it was just so crowded. And so yeah, but then we get in there and we go. Safi got like a little hot dog for herself. And then I went over and they were having like this ET reunion thing, which was cool because then I met another person from ET who I'll talk about. And then I basically got in line. It was kind of a short line for C. Thomas Howell. And I got to him and I paid him and I asked him for a photo. And then he came over and I took a picture with him and I shook his hand, and Safi had commented that she saw him in Grimm. And then he got back to his table as quickly as possible. And now, obviously, I'm not saying anything bad about him. Obviously, I'm just judging the experience. It was very impersonal. The picture is fine. But I don't know. It's just like kind of a waste of money, in my opinion. Like, I would not recommend doing this to anyone else. It was a waste of money. It was a waste of time. It was a waste of gas. It was a waste. Should not have done that. But he was friendly. He was nice. I guess, from what it seemed. So I would rate this experience a C-. Safi gives it a B because she's biased because she likes him in Grimm, of course. So yeah, really mediocre experience, but that's kind of the theme of this convention. It has a great guest list full of people who just, wow, what a great lineup of people. But then you meet them and it's like, this isn't worth it. This is like a ripoff, kind of. A huge ripoff, I would say, actually. So yeah, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon.